Welcome back everybody to another reaction video. Today we're going to be talking about the lower traps and how to activate these with your conscious mind. So we're just going to get right into it right now and let's begin.
All right, welcome back to Physio Rehab. Now, today's session is about the lower trap. Now, this is really good for people who are really upper trappy and they don't have too much lower traps. Sometimes these people also have serratus anterior problems. So if you're one of those people that have winging or serratus problems, you've probably also got a bit of lower trap weakness because they go hand in hand. I'm going to give you 3 exercises today that are going to help with that. So first one is a one-arm skydive. That's what we call it. So with Michelle here, if you go flat for me, Michelle, if she's doing one hand at a time, this right shoulder, you've got to think, remember the lower traps is coming from the shoulder blade down towards the spine angle like that. So we want her moving her shoulder blade in the same direction, which will fire at the best. So she's going to try and lift her shoulder blade, or think about lifting her shoulder blade over towards her opposite hip. Okay, so if she thinks about where the direction she's going, because she can't see it, so if you lift that for me, Michelle, she's going to lift that shoulder blade just to start with. So just lifting that scapula in the direction of her left hip. Then she's got to try and put some load on it. So you raise your hand for me. There you go. So there's a little bit of load, but she's working to hold that isometrically in that position. So this is like an isometric hold for her lower trap. Yes, she's got a bit of rhomboid, she's got a little bit of rotating up, but it's trying to bias that position of that lower trap. Then she externally rotates to get a little bit more rotated cuff, and she's going to reach for her foot. So she externally rotates that way. So remember, thumb outwards and upwards. Right? Then she's got to think about, to get way more depression, which is that lower trap movement down there, she's going to think about reaching towards that foot down there. And you'll see that shoulder blade move. Now, of course, you're going to get a little bit of lat in there, but
see the whole
because
shape
you're not
there.
gripping, it's more about the lower trap, more about the scapula coming down than it is about the arm coming down.
Yes, and I feel that when I do pull-up workouts, I can feel how those back muscles kind of like pull down and lock into place when you contract them. And it's very interesting to see him showing the diagrams, because I do feel those different kind of traps that like pull straight back, and then there's the neck traps that go up, and then there's like lower traps that like pull your arms down and kind of like lock them back. So yeah, this is really good.
So that's an iso hold. So isometric holds that maximal squeeze down here without overcompensating, about 10 seconds of that. You're trying to do 10 or 20 of those. And now that's a really good isometric entry-level stuff, right? Then we're going to move to more of a movement-based one. So come on up here, Michelle. So what you then want to aim for is to try and do a scapular row. Put that in the hand for me. So the scapular row is a little bit different to a one-arm row, because your one-arm rows you're going to bend, you're going to use your lats. We don't want to do that. So with the scapular row, you're just thinking the shoulder blade is going down. Okay, yes, you're going to do a bit of retraction, so a little bit of rhomboids, but remember, rhomboids come in this direction. Okay, so if you're just using rhomboids and you're not using lower trap, what's going to happen is when you pull, your shoulder's going to go up and you're going to fire your upper trap. This is where the upper trapping people come in. So if you're one of those people, when you pull back and you come up, this one's for you. So this elbow has to stay straight. This tension here can't be too much. If it's too much, you're going to start bending the elbow, or you're going to overcompensate. So don't have this too heavy. But for her, think of the anchor point through the hand, through the elbow, through the shoulder, as one sort of straight line. So when you pull down, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be going down on that angle that way. All right. So when she pulls down, she's got to think about this shoulder blade again. Same drill, coming towards the opposite hip. So she pulls that down and back in that direction, and then you know if that shoulder is coming down and in a bit, you're going to be working that lower trap. All right. So reaching right forward to the top. So when she goes forward, the shoulder blade goes up. All right. So she, in this position, if the hand's up, shoulder blade's up, then she pulls that whole thing down, and she's got to focus on not.
Yes. So when I do pull-ups, I can feel how there are different directions that the shoulder blades can go depending on what traps you're activating. So if you're doing an exercise where you have to pull something down flat like this, like straight down, like pulling a cable down, it activates a lot of the lower trap, because you have to pull your shoulders down too. They have to stay held down. If you're not activating your lower traps, then your shoulders might pop up while you're doing that. But that's the whole point, is to develop your lower traps so that you're less likely to injure your shoulder joints or anything during any kind of exercises that involve motion of the shoulders. So that's the whole purpose behind working out your other traps, like the lower traps, mid traps, and upper traps. It's very important. A lot of people, they overlook this. So if you don't know about any of this stuff, this is great. You should study this and use it in your workouts. And I'll have more videos where I show you guys how to implement these different kinds of muscle groups into your workouts to make sure that you're getting super safe workout.
Hitting the elbow. Great. So that's a really good, again, sort of next level up where you're using your lower trap. There's not too much load, but you're isolating it, but you're actually moving the shoulder blade now. Okay, you're doing not a static isometric contraction. You're trying to work on a dynamic movement there. All right, and then we're going to make it even harder. So third thing I wanted to do is use a foam roller. So come over here, Michelle. So foam roller one. Is again, this is easy stuff you can do at home or do in the gym. Both hands on that for you, Michelle. Yep. She's going to now try and roll that roller, but there's a few things you've got to think about before you do this. Hands a little bit wider than the shoulders, thumbs sort of facing up. Make sure you clear any impingement problems you've got going on there. Now, most people, when they roll this roller, they'll lift their spine up, they'll start arching through here, arch their lower back, and they almost do a thoracic extension, which is what we don't want. So to stop that, she's got to then tilt her pelvis back a little bit to neutral, turn her core on, hold that on, turn her glutes on if she needs to, and she's got to think about both shoulder blades this time coming down like a V. Okay, so if those shoulder blades are sort of coming towards this part, this shoulder is coming towards here, she's going to try and roll that roller like a lat pull down, but again, elbows can't be in there, right? So try that one for me, Michelle. So she pulls down quite nicely, that's quite good, and then she rolls it forward and lets her shoulder blades go up and forward, all right, like that. And then when she rolls the roller, she's got to think, okay, I've got to pull these down to roll the roller. So rather than your hands rolling the roller, because you'll end up just bending your elbows, she's using her shoulder blades to roll the roller. So a little thing to think about when you do that is pull your shoulder blades to pull the roller. Okay, so do that again for me. Pulling down, coming into that V, and just stopping at the point where she thinks she's going to start doing too much thoracic extension there. Right? Again, really nice one to work on. Don't overcook it. You'll just start extending your back. But again, nice lower trap isolation, and that's a really good progression for someone who's got lower trap weakness. So give that a shot. See you next time.
Very interesting. So, yeah, you can try those exercises out, and if you do, leave them in the comments below. Like this video, of course, and don't forget to subscribe, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to try these workouts too, actually, pretty soon. And if you're interested in other videos like this, just check out the reaction videos playlist I have on the end screen here. You can see down and around the playlists I have workouts, I have exercise science, so if you're interested in any of that, just feel free to check it out. And I'll see you guys in the next video.